we are learning about the resources and development. Resources are interdependent on technology development with the human beings. It is interrelated, and resources are classified in two ways. The first way is resources are classified as natural resources and human-made resources. Natural resources, again, they are classified into renewable and non-renewable. What are renewable resources? Resources which are renewable, like wind, water, they are known as renewable resources. And what are non-renewable resources? Non-renewable resources are resources which we cannot renew, which we cannot get back easily. And these renewable resources again are of two types. One is continuous and the other one is the biological. What continuous means wind and water which are continuously flowing, and biological is broadly again divided into natural vegetation and the wildlife. Natural vegetation like the forest and the wildlife, you know that in the forest wild animals live. So coming to the non-renewable resources. What are non-renewable resources? As I said, they are non-renewable, and it takes some millions of years to renew them. And there are also again two types: recycle and non-recycle. What are recyclable metals like the iron, which we can use, and after using we can recycle it and we can use it again. And non-recyclable, they are the fossil fuels which we cannot use again, which we cannot be recycled again, like the mountains also you can say. And coming to the next type of the resources classification, it is based on origin, exhaustibility, and ownership and status of development. Origin is again divided into biotic and abiotic. Biotic are the animals, fungi, flora, fauna, and abiotic as mountain, land, that. And exhaustibility. This exhaustibility is availability. They are again renewable and non-renewable. The same renewable and non-renewable is the same again, wind and metals which we cannot. And coming to the ownership, this ownership is again divided into four types: individual owner resources, community owned resources, nation owned resources, and the international owned resources. What are individual resources? In the resources which are individually owned, like the buildings, apartments, flats, or whatever it may be, individual owned are the individual resources. Community is related to the village owned, like the picnic spots, parks, and the ponds, or whatever related to the community, they are village, they are known as community related resources. Coming to the nations resources like the monuments, barrages, rivers, and mountains, metals, everything they come into the nations. One country is owned by the country. And what is international? International resources are about on the borders. After the borders, 200 nautical miles are considered to be the country's property, which the country can use for its economic development. For example, we'll take Indian Ocean. From our Indian border to 200 nautical miles, it is our economical development area owned by the India. So like that, resources are known as the international resources. Next, status of the development. According to, based on the status of the development of the resources and how we are using them, they are again divided into four types: potential, developed, stock, and resource. What are potential resources? The resources which we can identify, we identified, but till they are not come into utilization, they are known as the potential. And developed means the resources which are developed for utilization, for our utilization. And what are the stocks? These developed resources which are bring to the society for the consumption to satisfy the wants of the public. They are known as the stocks. What are the reserves? The stock which is reserved and known and how to use for the future, that is known as the reserves. So in this way, the classification of resources into two types of classification we learned. And next, let us learn about the important resources. Important resources. Let us learn about the important resources. Before learning about the important resources, let us learn about these important points which you have to remember carefully for the examination. The first one is the development of the resources. How the development of the resources is taking place, and that means the developed resources, they are utilized. If they are utilized greedily, what happens? The resources may complete. They are not utilized for for the future generations. There will not be any resource. And not only that, the concentration of the resources in few hands is without using without discrimination, and concentration of your resources in few hands, leading to the differences are like haves and have-nots, rich and poor. So these resources we have to use in a very legal manner, that is a sustainable development. Sustainable development means using of the resources with few keeping in mind about the future utilization of resources legally. Legally is known as the sustainable development. And seeing this overutilization, discriminate utilization of the resources, and global warming, 100 states they met in Brazil, Rio de Janeiro, that is the place in Brazil. 100 states they met, and they called it the Earth Summit 1992. What they call it? The Earth Summit 1992. And all the 100 states they signed an agenda. And they signed one declaration. What is the declaration? Declaration on global climate change. Declaration on global climate change, and they released an agenda. Agenda 21. It is famously known as Agenda 21, and Agenda 21 for the 21st century. And in this, they discussed about the utilization of the resources, manageable, sustainable use of the resources. Coming to the next one, resource planning. Resource planning is important in India. Why? Because all the resources are not spread evenly in all the places of India. For example, if we take the Assam and eastern sides, their water resources are more. And coming to the plateau region, Deccan Plateau and the plateau regions, we are having more minerals. Coming to the Punjab, we are having agriculture resources there. In this way, the resources are unevenly distributed. So there should be a proper planning and organization of institutions for the development and proper utilization of all the resources. And the next important thing is land as the resource. We are learning here land as a resource. The land as a resource we can use. We are living on the land. All the animals, human beings, everyone are living on the land. And for any biotic, abiotic, for any activity, we need the land. So we have to use land in a organized, planned way. And utilization of the land. How we are utilizing the land, that we have to learn in 4 steps. How many steps? 4. So this land utilization we can learn in the 4 headings. Forest land not available for cultivation, other uncultivated land, fallow land, net sown area. Coming to the forest land, the land which is under the forest, that is known as forest land, and land that not cultivated. This land that is not cultivated means barren. Barren land, waste land. We can also say the land put for the non-agricultural purpose, that is for the building purpose. And coming to the other uncultivated lands. Other lands which are uncultivated, permanently used for the pasteurization, grazing grass. for the animals. That lands are known as other uncultivated lands. And fallow lands. What are these fallow lands? They are the lands which are utilized for agriculture cultivation, but it is not a continuous process. It may be used for 1 year, and after 2 years it may not be in use, and again on the third year or the fourth year we can use that land for the cultivation. And next, nets on area. What is nets on area? The area which is used more than once in the agriculture year. The area which we can use more than once for the agricultural year, that is agricultural year more than once if we cultivate it, that land is known as the nets on land. So in this way the land we can utilize the land. Now coming to the land use pattern in India. How the land use pattern in India? Basing on this availability we are using the land, but there was a survey during 1914, between 1914 to 1915, and again the survey has taken place in the we can say 2014, sorry. It is 1960-61 and 2014-15, and there was a comparison between these years, and this survey has taken place throughout India in all the places except some places, three places. They are border with the China and border with the Pakistan, and some places in the Ladakh. Border in the Pakistan, occupied places of India, we did not go for survey there, and border with the China, which are occupied by the China, and survey was not taken in that place, and some valley regions in the Ladakh also survey was not taken place. And in this survey what we learned is the utilization of the agricultural land was decreased. The utilization for the grazing land is also decreased from 1960-61 to 2014 and the 15. And this pattern you can clearly see in your textbook here. Okay, like in this textbook you can see this pattern. You have to learn and you have to go through the textbook part for the resource based questions. And we have to learn one more important thing here, degradation of the land. If we are overusing the land for the agriculture purpose or for the grazing purpose, for any purpose, the land quality is degrading. So we have to use it sustainably. We have to use it keeping in view the grades of the land. And coming to the land, the resource of the land is the soil. Let us learn about the soil as a resource. The land is related to the soil, and soil as a resource now we are learning here, and we are having different types of the soils. For your convenience sake, I made all in one table form. I will be writing for you, please, and I will explain you. This tabular form, very easy. You can go through it once, then you will learn perfectly. This is the table for you. And the soils, important soils are alluvial soil, black soil, red and yellow soil, laterite soil. Excuse me. Arid soil and the forest soil. Arid soil and the forest soil. Coming to the alluvial soil. Alluvial soil is in two layers. First one is the Bangar and the Kadar. The Bangar is the old one and Kadar is the new one. Excuse me. Bangar is old and the Kadar is a new one. And what are the minerals here we can get here is potash, lime, phosphoric acid in alluvial. Coming to the black soil, it is a clayey soil. It holds more moisture, and calcium carbonate, magnesium, potash and lime are the minerals we can get here. Coming to the red and yellow soil, it is a crystalline igneous rock form of the soil. And when we are getting iron here, when the iron is mixing with the crystalline, we can have the red color soil here, and if the iron is hydrated, the soil becomes yellow. So please remember that. Coming to the laterite soil. This laterite soil is a lateritic form. It is deep acidic and it is very rich in humus. Nuts are grown in this area only. Coming to the arid soil. Arid soil is a sandy soil. It is very saline and we can say it is red in color. And what are we getting here is salt and the calcium are the minerals we are getting here. Coming to the forest, this forest soil is based on, the texture is based on it varies based on the place of the mountains where this forest sand is there. The texture varies on mountains place where it is placed. And coming to the next one, this next important topic is soil erosion and the conservation. How the soil is eroded and why the soil is eroded. How it is eroded? Because of the forcible wind, overflowing of the river water and rain water, it may erode the upper layers of the sand. And in sometimes if the river flow is very over and very forcible, it is forming gullies also. It forms gullies in and that land is not utilized for the cultivation. Why? Because the upper layer fertile land is eroded and it is not useful for the cultivation. So how we have to conserve that soil erosion? Because of the we can conserve it through afforestation, and on the mountainous valley areas we can we can have the cultivated plantation cultivation, so that the overgrazing also we should reduce. Overgrazing also leads to the soil erosion. So grazing should be reduced, afforestation should continue, and uh, we have to construct some barrages to restrict the river flow, bridges and barrages. So, and just I want to show you what is gully erosion. This is what gully erosion, here the gullies are forming. So this is what gully erosion. So hope you had understand this. If you have any doubt, please post your doubts in the comment box. I am ready to help. And please subscribe my channel. Thank you children. Thank you very much.